I wanted to fire off some questions.
You got
because
it.
I had some questions that
Rapid fire. Bring it.
I really wanted to ask you real quick. What is the difference between interest rate and APR? Isn't that the same thing?
It's the same thing if you have no cost involved.
Explain that to
me. If you don't have any appraisal, any title fees, no recording fees, no nothing on there, your interest rate will be the same as your APR. But your APR is always going to be higher than your interest rate because it takes into account all the other fees that you have with that. Yeah. So if you have an interest rate that's 4% or APR is 7%, you're paying a lot of fees. Your interest rate and APR should be fairly close.
Okay, cool. And now when I've gone through the loan process with you, you've called me and you said, do you want to lock up your rate? Could you explain that? What does that mean? What is lock up rates? What is that?
Yeah. When we do a pre-approval or a conditional approval, a lot of times the rate won't be locked on the front end. I will underwrite to 4.5%, or they will underwrite to 4.5%.
Yeah.
But that's not a lock yet. The lock just basically means that you're saying, stop the wheel. What's that bad game show? Or it's like, no whammies, no whammies, no whammies. Stop.
Yeah.
Stop at 4.5, you know?
Well,
so you're basically saying, look, I'm going to lock in at 4.5. I understand that rates may go down and I'm not going to get a better rate. But I understand that if rates go up, I'm not going to get that rate either.
Okay.
Now, there are programs we have. It's called a lock and shop, where you can, if you're going to look for a home, but you're comfortable in rates right now and you don't want to think about it, there are ways you can lock your rate in now while you go shopping for a home. So I think you have like 90 days to find a house and you have that rate done. And there's also a built-in float down. So if you want to get into the scenario and rates drop, you can drop your rate, but your rate will not go up.
So I can't shop rates around? I mean, could I go to Chase, see what they give me? Could I go to all these different lenders to see what kind of rates?
You absolutely can. I mean, competition is great. I mean, I think that I very rarely will lose anything to pricing because of the way we're set up. We can go to Chase. We can go to Wells Fargo. We can go to all these places. So they're not going to offer anything that we can't offer anyway.
Okay.
But we are going. The other side is that what Chase can't offer is that they can't offer the other people's rates that we can. So if you're going to fly to Los Angeles, you could go to American Airlines website and say, that sounds like a good fare. I'm just going to take that. No problem. Here's my credit card. I mean, I don't know many people that do that. What do you do when you're going to fly somewhere? Do you just go to one website?
No.
Shop around.
Right. You go to Orbitz or something like Travelocity. That's the software we have. You know, I don't really care how you're getting to Los Angeles. I want to make sure you're there in the quickest way possible at the time that works for you. And, you know, based on your credit, maybe you're sitting in first class, maybe you're not, but you're still going to get there, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't care if your airline is nondescript. If you really want to work with a certain investor and say, all my stuff's with Chase or whatever, I can probably make sure that your loan goes to Chase, probably at a better rate than what they have anyway.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So here's another one. Fixed rate and a variable rate. Now we kind of have an understanding of that, right? And I know that variable is looked down upon without a doubt, right? And we hear a lot of that stuff. When is variable an advantage?
Sure. Two programs. Okay. They're both 30-year loans. So you're going to pay off the loan over 30 years. An adjustable rate mortgage, or ARM, is basically saying, I want as low a rate as possible on the front end of the loan. And I'm willing to have that fixed for 5 years or 7 years, knowing that my rate could go up or down after that 5th or 7th year. This is great for someone that's buying their first home when maybe they're thinking about starting a family and maybe they can't see themselves in this home after 5 or 6 years down the road. You know, instead of getting in a rate that's 4.5%, get into an adjustable at 4%. You're locked in for that 5 or 7 years, that lower payment. The problem is, obviously, if you decide, hey, we change our mind, we're not having kids, or we really like living where we are, now you got to see where that payment's going. And that's the risk you have to play. That's why most people don't choose an ARM. But there are a lot of people that I know that are just know that they want that scenario and they would rather have the lower payment.